What is up, guys, and welcome to the long-awaited Austrian Grand Prix. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we've been waiting for an ultimate weight reduction upgrade to come on the car in time for this race, and I can happily say that the upgrade has gone on the car. So too with finally an engine upgrade. I feel like whenever we upgrade the engine, it fails every time. This one failed as well, but you know, we amended it, and here we are at the Austrian Grand Prix with some big boy upgrades. We overtake Mercedes, Red Bull, and we re-overtake Alfa Romeo, who got past us in the last round, and Haas shoot to the best car. So got some interesting developments, it must be said, for this career mode season. If Haas is now going to be the dominant force in this career mode, that's going to make things very, very interesting. Nice little spin there for me in practice 1, which was a wet session, so that was interesting. We never really have a wet P1, but we negotiated through those practice sessions all fine. But yeah, Haas are a long way off the championship lead, both in the drivers and the constructors, and if they're going to be, like I said, a dominant force, it's going to make things very interesting. It's going to be, I don't know, like a handicap kind of race to the championship trophy, with Mercedes and Ferrari currently holding down the fort at the moment, but the midfield teams are chasing him down. So I'm really interested to see how this development race unfolds, and whether Mercedes or Ferrari or Red Bull, for that matter, have a response. Alfa Romeo going to continue to upgrade? I don't bloody know. So I can't wait to just, soar into this career mode and just see how it all goes, really. But anyway, practice is done. We showed some pretty decent pace, and Ricciardo there in practice 3, sublime pace from him as well. So heading into qualifying, hopefully we can come away with something good.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position.
Okay, so here we are for qualifying. It looks like it's raining for the start, but it is going to dry up towards the end of qualifying 1. So there's almost no point in going out there and doing a run. We're just going to wait for the dry conditions to arrive, and it looks like it has done so in the final 5 minutes. So I'm just waiting until the very last second to go out there and then set a time, and then hopefully we'll leave nothing up to chance, and we can just make it through to Q2. But in terms of the weather, it was raining in practice, raining here at the start of qualifying, and I can confirm that there is supposed to be a little bit of rain in the race, maybe towards the end. That is what the forecast is saying. So yeah, this weekend I did have a little bit of a wet setup in mind. I did increase the downforce so that we could be somewhat more competitive if it does rain, but it looks like the majority of the weekend, at least the sessions that do count, are going to be in the dry, like this one you can see now. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It tends to be the case that the car responds better to downforce, so I did increase the downforce by 1 click either way for the front and the rear, as opposed to the time trial setup that I did have. I think it was 4 or 5 wings, and now we're running like 5, 6 wings, I believe. We get through qualifying 1, we leave nothing to chance, we get P4. Daniel Ricciardo literally right there with us as well, and literally the gaps right up and down the field is incredibly close. So the contest for pole position today, or at least trying to get into Q3.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
What? We're having rain again? There was no forecast for rain after this. Okay. Looks like we're going to have rain a little bit later on as well. Okay, so we need to get out there. But like I was going to say, the battle for pole is going to be tightly contested, but the battle to get into Q3 is going to be so unpredictable. It's going to be a joke. Leclerc currently holds down the best time of the moment. I fast-forwarded a little bit of time, knowing full well that the rain is going to hit probably in the last minutes, or like literally on the last lap. So I don't know, I was a bit up in the air as to what to do. If I leave it too late, the rain might come, but if I set my time too early, we might get screwed over like we did in Canada. So I tried to go for a somewhat of a middle ground. It looks like the rain isn't even hitting yet, so maybe I could have got away with doing a lap right up until the death of the session. But regardless, this one is a really solid lap. We come up across the line, we do a 103.4. Honestly, that's probably the best lap I could probably do. There's nothing more I can give apart from that. we're going to retire from the session, and hopefully that helps, as opposed to fast forwarding. I'm so done with this game.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about day. No grid penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
Yeah, it can be very disheartening when you have a bad qualifying session, and even more so when you get to the grid for the race and you can't even see the start line because of all the cars ahead of you. It's just as well that Lucas has a reputation for hard work and determination, as he's going to need both today.
You're lower on the grid than we wanted. See to it that we improve throughout the race.
Does anyone else want to roast me? Or what? What's the deal? I'm pretty fired up for the start of this race. I'm not going to lie. Getting screwed over by the game once again. Being out of position. Let's see what we can do in this race. I am going to be pretty feisty off the start to try and make up some lost ground. Ricciardo got screwed over as well, given that he was the lead guy in Q2, but started P8. Away we go for this race. Let's see if we can rustle some feathers in this Austrian Grand Prix. Pretty nice start, actually, to be fair. So that was one thing I had going for me, so that's nice. We can at least carry some momentum here on this first lap and kind of predict what the AI might do. We're going to fake to the inside and then switch to the outside right at the last second. Oh, no! Oh, no. Okay. Wow, okay. That has resulted in a couple of gain positions, but a very scary moment as I thought I was going to lose my front wing. I knocked out a braking board, so I'm sorry to be one of those people who does that. I was anticipating a lot of the AI to breeze over to the right, but that just did not happen for me. And, well, yeah, we keep our car and we actually gain a position, so that was kind of nice. Ricciardo with a big dive bomb into turn 3, or turn 4 actually, if you count them right. And there he goes into P6. Let's see if we can set up the move on Charles Leclerc and follow him through as well. Leclerc running out a little bit wide as you would expect, but he holds a position in P7. Renault looks like they have good pace today. The upgrades certainly have worked. The ultimate weight reduction upgrade has really made this car a bit of a dream to drive. Feels so nimble, responds a little bit better than what it did previously, and overall you can just chuck it into corners a whole lot nicer. And the engine power as well really didn't go amiss, so it's nice to have that extra bit of punch out of corners. But anyway, we're putting the pressure on Leclerc. Ricciardo is putting the pressure on the Red Bulls up ahead. As you can see, we go around the outside of the Ferrari. And there we go. With a back end loss, that was not the greatest, but let's see if we can continue to follow Ricciardo through. We are absolutely slicing through the field here. Butler and Vettel going side by side into turn 3. Tried to go around the outside there, really didn't work. Vettel was the cork in the bottle there, but now we get a nice run and we're past Sebastian. Let's see if we can get Devin Butler as well, maybe up the inside into turn 4. That was close. Let's not do that again. I was in two minds. I didn't know whether to fully commit or to just kind of stick my nose in there and see what would happen, but Butler gets a horrible run out of turn 1, blocked in by Ricciardo, and my exit has been massively compromised to the point where Vettel is now back in the game. Again, around the outside into turn 3, this seems to be my happy place. If you ever watch Happy Gilmore, you think of your happy place to get in the zone. I'm thinking about the outside line into turn 3. That's my happy place. Don't know where that reference came from. But anyway, it's a nice little cutback on the inside on Devin Butler there into turn 4. Leaves him a little bit vulnerable as we run through the middle sector now. It's going to be hard to out-maneuver a Red Bull in the middle sector. Middle sector, yep, okay. Back up the inside and into P5. So Devin kind of screwed up that first left-hander and allowed us to go back up the inside into P5. And this Austrian Grand Prix has just been a little bit nutty. Let's see if we can calm things down. I know I was fired up at the start, but we've now got some good track position, so now I think it's probably worthwhile to calm down a little bit, compose ourselves, and then go from there. You know, one of the biggest things I can...
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Yeah, before I go off on a little bit of a tangent, I will let the engineer speak for once. Looks like we are having some rain, and it is coming somewhat earlier than what is anticipated. Though I'm not going to completely fall for it, because after what happened in Spain, you guys said that if there's rain in a back-end quadrant of the race, that's when the switch to intermediate tyres might come. So I'm just going to play this quite normally, to be honest, with the strategy. Getting very close to Ricardo there. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, yeah, I remember now. It was about how I was fired up at the start of the race and how I need to calm down. Basically, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to you guys is to always remain as calm as you possibly can when you're driving or just doing anything, I guess, in sport or whatever. Being able to make rational decisions is always good. But, yeah, you'll avoid moments like I had at turn 3 where I nearly ended my race because I was just purely a bit heated. So, yeah, try and avoid that if you can, especially if you're league racing. But anyway, yeah, just my little 2 cents. Yeah, it's very easy to get overheated in these kind of scenarios, so it is good every so often to just, like, chill out and calm down, because then, yeah, you'll make way better decisions. But anyway, yeah, we've somehow got ourselves in a good position now. Renault seem to be one of the best cars in the field. Like, Haas are the best car on paper. Daniel Kvyat is out of the session, so that's unfortunate for him. But they seem to be, when I say they, I mean Haas, seem to be buried in traffic and are probably unable to show what their true pace is. Whereas, I think, are we the second best? If we're not the second best, we're close to it. We seem to be elevating our way towards the front, chasing down the Mercedes, who we know we are better than. So we have every chance of winning this Grand Prix. It's just going to come down to who makes the right call with the strategy. The rain is coming, but it looks like it's not really coming in a hurry. So we're going to stick to our original strategy. We're going to switch on to mediums for the next stint and then play the race by ear until the rain comes. But anyway, Ricardo back up my inside into turn 3. My tyres are starting to go off a little bit, and I'm actually losing a bit of momentum relative to everyone else around me. The engineer is calling me in at the end of this lap, and we are going to respond. We're not going to stay out an extra lap. We're not going to screw over our teammate this time. Don't want to do that again. I do genuinely want the team to do well in both the drivers and the constructors. Daniel has not had a good run of things so far this season, and hopefully today we can change that with another podium. But away we go for the pit stop. It was us versus Ferrari. We emerge in front of Vettel, which is crucial for us. Championship contender. It's always good to be beating one of them. And yeah, we can now set our sights after the Mercedes, one of which getting held up by a lot of traffic. So Bottas was the first one to stop. Hamilton responding on the next lap. So he is going to be way better positioned in this race, given that he's circulating in clear air at the moment, and then when he does rejoin, or after his pit stop, he'll be way ahead of Bottas in some pretty good clear air. But here we go, teammate is in. He was in front of the Red Bull, no, he wasn't in front of the Red Bull, but he was in front of the Ferrari, gets screwed over by just the positioning of where the garage was, and he's dropped a few seconds there, unfortunately, as we overtake Stroll around the outside. Alright. Let's negotiate these slower cars and catch up to Bottas. That is the aim over the next 20 laps.
Right, some information on Ricardo. They seem to have an issue.
What? Are you telling me that in the one race where we're looking absolutely fire, Daniel Ricciardo has some kind of problem? It's not a puncture, I don't know, I couldn't tell. Didn't look like he was going overly slow in a straight line either. I hope that was a glitch or something, because I want my teammate to be doing well. But anyway, we can see the rain is now suddenly upon us, which could mean a switch to intermediate tyres isn't too far away, and McLaren has spun out, and I think... Oh my god! Sebastian Vettel has just absolutely drilled the McLaren. Who is it? It's Lando Norris. Lando tried to get out of the way, but unfortunately he was just positioned right on the racing line. Vettel has damage. Virtual safety car has been deployed, so not even the full course caution. Still 30 races into this career mode. Not even a big boy crash like that can bring out that Mercedes thing.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
But there we go. What a race this is turning into. The fiery start, the awesome form. Daniel Ricciardo now falling in the field.
Okay,
Vettel's incident with Lando Norris, and now the rain is setting in. I don't think this race needs any more spice. Oh, Vettel is out. Oh no, Vettel is out of this race. I am speechless. All this race needs now is a safety car, and we've got a full house of things that can happen in a Grand Prix. Butler is coming back at us now with the rain getting heavier. My pace at this phase of the Grand Prix is just not that good at the moment. I don't know why. Yeah, it started off really well, but now we seem to be...
Okay, I think it might be just about time to come and change these tyres. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Sorry, now I'm the one that's talking over Jeff. I think he might yell at me in a minute. But yeah, pace just hasn't been as good lately. Can't quite put my finger on it, to be honest. The rain probably having some kind of input on that. But Bottas is in. I decided to stay out because I saw that Hamilton carried on, and I figured that if Hamilton is carrying on, I should probably carry on as well. There was a very busy pit lane, and so even though we're driving around on a wet track at the moment, I still feel like we might emerge somewhat better position than those guys who all got held up in the pit lane. That was a very dicey entry into the pit lane, nearly having about 3 crashes there on the run into the box. But there we go. We're now through the dangerous phase. We can now get the intermediate tyres on, and now we can have some grip again in this race. 15 laps to go. Hamilton has got quite the convincing lead at the moment, but if we continue to be OP in the rain like we have in the past, then we are really well positioned in this race to go for the win. We emerge in P3, so the likes of Bottas, Verstappen, Butler, all those people who stopped earlier are all kind of nowhere at this point in the Grand Prix. Sergio Perez must have got the golden run in the pit lane. Probably in the Williams, given that he was, I think Williams might be at the end of the pit lane, and so he probably didn't have to hold for anyone and emerged way out in front of everyone else. So great play there from Williams. We now are trying to chase down Sergio, but it seems to be a bit of a struggle at the moment. I don't have the same ascendancy that I did previously when it used to rain. So maybe the recent patch that came out has kind of rectified the AI's issues in the wet.
We're expecting the rain to get worse within the next few minutes. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
That must be the case, because I'm really struggling to catch Sergio. It's coming and going in waves. There are some moments where I'm like, yeah, I've got some momentum on Sergio, but then I'll make a small mistake and then the gap will elongate a little bit and I have to work quite hard to close him in again. But now I feel like I'm starting to find my rhythm again, and we are getting into the realms of Sergio Perez land. 4 laps left to go in this race. I'm just trying to set up the move nicely. I was playing around with the battery quite a lot and the fuel, but I decided in these last few laps I'd just play around with the fuel and stick it in lean through the corners. Seemed to minimize the wheel spin quite nicely, and now we've got some good rhythm going in the wet at the moment. So we're just trying to put the pressure on Sergio. We're not going to win this race, not unless Hamilton retires, which could be a possibility. The Mercedes has been very unreliable this season. But otherwise... Oh, that was close. Into turn 3, big lock-up. But otherwise, it looks like P2 is going to be the maximum in this Grand Prix. A bit of a racing line is starting to form, and that is somewhat helping, I think. I don't know. It's supposed to be heavy rain at this stage, but I kind of feel more confident at this stage of the Grand Prix. It's quite weird. But it looks like no one is budging. No one wants to switch to wet tyres, given that there's only a lap to go after this. So if you pit now, you are not getting that track position back. Not by a mile. Anyway, we're trying to set up the move nicely here on Sergio, trying to get a nice bit of momentum going. We've got lots of battery, lots of fuel left, so pace, really, above all else, is going to be the limiting factor between us and Sergio Perez. He goes defensive for the first time in the turn 1. Gives us a nice run. Bit of wheel spin, trying to apply maximum power as early as I can. But Sergio still has good straight line speed. We're going to try and go around the outside now into turn 3, which seems to be a happy place. A bit of a lag spike. So that's the thing. around the outside into turn 3, and there we go. That is job done for us in this Grand Prix. It's going to be 18 points for us today in the Austrian Grand Prix, unless we make a mistake at this stage. But there we go, we are through. The reason why I had a lag spike is I've switched to DX11. I've been having a lot of crashes. My PC has been rebooting a lot in these career mode races. Like, every single race, my PC is rebooted like once or twice, maybe even more. And as such, I haven't been able to get race highlights up at the end of my videos, if you guys have noticed that or not. But this time, we got through the entirety of the race without the PC rebooting, which is nice. And I feel like that's probably ultimately down to DX11. But we are getting screen freezes at the end of the race, and I guess that's a trade-off. But anyway, Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix. We're going to come away with P2 today. A bit of a burnout across the line, and a really, really solid comeback.
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
A big day today, especially for the man in whites. Lewis Hamilton wins the Austrian Grand Prix in a day where Sebastian Vettel comes away with nothing. He's going to have quite the handy championship lead, a good bout of points for us today, which should see us move up the championship order. Unfortunate, we couldn't gain some points on Hamilton, but at this stage, you know, we do need to be realistic. We don't have the best car. We're only just getting into the realms of the top teams now. So, yeah, we have to continue to upgrade, continue to plug away, continue to be consistent, and then by season's end, hopefully, we're still in the fight. 29 points away from Hamilton, so he does stretch out the lead. He does storm to the lead and, have a pretty convincing advantage at the moment. We get third in the Constructors over Red Bull. So that's nice to see. Ricciardo not having a good race. He only managed P10. He did have some mechanical issues. And again, I don't know what that was down to specifically, but that certainly did screw him over somewhat. So really unfortunate to see him come away with not much, despite the early promise showed by both of us in the dry. But, you know, we've got a good car, and I feel like we will come back sooner rather than later. Some resource points in the bank then, 1,200 points. We can probably do a major upgrade, so we'll have a little look around and see what we can have a go at. We have unlocked the major engine upgrade, so I think given our struggles, I might just go for that, to be honest, to boost the engine power. We've got some power tracks coming up. Spa, Monza, you know, USA, COTA, Brazil, they all require a bit of engine power, and I feel like that'll help my teammate as well in trying to fend off some of those pesky midfield runners or, you know, front-running teams, and hopefully we can have an easier time of things. But that has been this Grand Prix for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. We've got a major rear downforce upgrade going on the car in time for the British Grand Prix, and also that major engine upgrade coming in a couple of races time as well. So all good signs, hopefully, for the future. Hopefully we are in the championship fight, but there is still a lot of development to come from those teams around us. So I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And for the first time in what seems like an age, we have some highlights to enjoy to round out this video. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.